What's up everyone? Alex here. As Valentine's Day approaches, I sat down and pondered if there was a way that I could do something unique to celebrate it this year. After all, my wife isn't the type that likes receiving presents, as she'd rather us show our love and appreciation for one another daily. Aww. But then, I recalled something that I made a year ago. Right around this time last year, I released a video called Top 10 Badass Women in Gaming, and on that video, Mr. Dark Soul made a comment saying how its release was timely as it was getting close to Valentine's Day. And that's when it hit me. Why don't I ask my wife who she'd put on her top 10 list? And so, here we are again, 1 year later, and one more list of amazing women in gaming. This assorted list of incredible women was handpicked by my very own personal and favorite badass gamer, my wife, and isn't ranked in any particular order. These women are all strong in very different ways, so trying to rank them against each other's not really gonna be fair. She also took off any characters that were present in my original list so we can have a completely new list this year. As such, honorable mentions go to Aloy, which is her absolute favorite female protagonist, as well as Samus Aran, who were both present in my list. I don't think it needs to be said, but just in case, spoilers abound. But I've chapter marked this video so you can skip to the next part if you don't want to be spoiled. Let's kick things off with our first entry, one that hits close to home. Max Caulfield has a special place in my Oregonian heart. You don't see a lot of Oregon representation in video games, so I was genuinely surprised how much the fictional town of Arcadia Bay was a lovely mix of Oregon's coastal towns. Max and her friend Chloe are a fun mix of Oregonian representation and the all-too-familiar bumper sticker that states, "Keep Portland Weird." Max is an introvert who prefers to observe the world around her rather than participate in it. But she also has a knack for obscure cult movies, anime, and pickling things. No, sorry, that last one was a joke from Portlandia. Max is a brave and true friend, placing herself in harm's way to protect those she cares about. Objection! Mia Fey is the original Ace Attorney. Mia and Phoenix share very similar personalities and unyielding faith in their clients. This makes a lot of sense, given that Mia was Phoenix's boss and mentor at Fey & Company law offices, which she left to him upon her death. What's great about Mia is that death won't stop her from saving her clients and helping out Phoenix. Mia also has a sister named Maya, who functions as a spirit medium, and both constantly help Phoenix, employing their own brand of kindness and encouragement, as well as an ambition for justice, unlike any other. Futaba Sakura is many things: gamer girl, world-renowned hacker, genius, orphan, sufferer of extreme anxiety bordering on agoraphobia with hallucinations, and a fun and quirky girl. When we first find Futaba, she's an extreme shut-in, ready to leave the world behind. But what she grows into is one of the best and truest stories of mental strength, triumphantly managing to pull herself out of the darkest recesses of her mind. During our time with Futaba, not only do we see her use her legendary genius and computer skills to get us through all types of jams, we see her challenge her boundaries on her own terms and form meaningful bonds. As the Phantom Thief's navigator, Futaba, codenamed Oracle, will guide you to victory every time.
Super! Double! Sparkle!
This list wouldn't be complete without everyone's favorite bar hostess / underground rebel fighter, Tifa Lockhart. She's a double shot of caring and kindness, with a willpower of steel and fists to match. The original Final Fantasy VII was such a huge part of my early gaming experience, and there's nothing more memorable to me than nailing Tifa's limit break reels. When you got an entire series of badass moves to come out, and a bunch of 999s lighting up across the board, there's nothing more satisfying. And those fight scenes in Advent Children that featured Tifa front and center were just such a treat to watch. There can't be any doubt that Tifa belongs in the list of top women in gaming history. Edelgard from Fire Emblem Three Houses can be a divisive character depending on which route you took in your playthrough. For me, however, I chose her house from the very get-go. When doing so, you realize quite quickly that you are the perfect foil for Edelgard. Edelgard is remarkable in that she has a strong vision for the future, where the established order of rule is broken, and people are allowed to flourish equally under their own merit and hard work, rather than luck and a birthright. While Edelgard is morally ambiguous, unrelenting, and ambitious, she is also thoughtful and willing to change course as necessary. She is a great ruler of a divided kingdom, which isn't an easy task for anyone to handle. The original female badass. No, really, she's from 65 million BC. Isla was my favorite character in Chrono Trigger, as she packed a mean wallop. And while the rest of the cast got a slew of cool weapons to wield, Isla smacks her enemies with just her bare hands. She is fiercely courageous and confident, and her team-up moves were always fun. Hailing from prehistory, Isla's presence allows for some fun activities, like a tribal celebration, which was topped off by an eating contest and everyone passing out from eating and drinking too much. Isla lives by a simple set of rules. Isla, fight while alive, win and live, lose and die, rule of life. This makes her a great fighter and a great companion to take into battle. Fie Clausel is swift and fierce and an amazingly good evasion tank. Keep the aggro, take none of the damage, then return fire just to rub it in. Fie grew up on the battlefield, raised by a group of killer mercenaries, which is a stark contrast to attending a military academy and making friends. Bonus points for wielding a pair of gun swords, which she uses to either cut you down or shoot you up. Fie is a ton of fun because she's keen and swift, but also kind and soft. She even enjoys gardening and sleeping in random places. Rarely respected and almost never taken seriously, my next entry is my all-time favorite thief, Riku. Always upbeat and caring, what's there not to love? If you played Final Fantasy X, then you know that her speed was insane, and her thievery is the way to make all the gil. Let's get rich, baby! Riku's overdrive was a real treat too, and arguably the best in the game. Her mix ability had all the potential in the world to do anything you wanted it to do. Massive damage? Check. Buffing or healing the party? Check and check. She can practically do it all. While looked down upon for being an Al Bhed, she never stopped caring about people and saving them. More than anyone, she wanted to change the predetermined fate bestowed upon Yuna. It's easy to forget just how smart Riku is with all her engineering knowledge because of her need to crack jokes and lighten the mood, which often labels her as a goof. But this combo is filled with so much win that I can't help but have my heart stolen over and over again. Raiding tombs since 1996, Lara Croft is a name everyone knows and has shot up in numerous polls as the #1 female character in video game history. Besides raiding all of them tombs and being a good shooty girl, she has some genuine accolades that may surprise you. Lara and the Tomb Raider series currently holds 6 official Guinness World Records, including best-selling video game heroine and most official real-life stand-ins. In the town of Derby in the UK, there's even a roundabout named after Lara, which was named in 2009 after the local council opened a naming vote to the public. Lara Croft Way won by a landslide of 89% of the votes. This is all to say that no matter what, Lara Croft has stood the test of time as one of the most iconic females in video game history.
I am Melania, Blade of Mikola, and I have never known defeat.
If that doesn't send a chill down your spine, you either didn't play Elden Ring or skipped out on the hardest boss in the game. Malenia, Blade of Miquella, is utterly unforgettable, not only because of the painful attack pattern she puts you through, but because every time you were confronted with a "you died" screen, she would remind you that she is Malenia, Blade of Miquella. Hearing this over and over after hours of defeat meant that even after going to bed, you'll suddenly wake up in a cold sweat and hear the demigod's declaration resounding in your head, taunting you. And despite her body succumbing to the rot god, she's still able to hold it at bay, with just sheer willpower alone, all the while handing you your ass on a silver platter. Only in times of desperation will she bloom, and when she does, it'll take all of your courage and determination to not lose all hope. Legend has it that if Malenia blooms a third time, she'll re-emerge as a true goddess, which is probably not something you'll want to stick around for. She's also a loving sister to Miquella, fighting for his godhood over her own. Malenia, Blade of Miquella, is reverently known as the hardest boss in any Souls game, and if there was a top spot on my list, Malenia would easily stand above the rest. And that, my friends, are my wife's picks for her top 10 amazing women in gaming, all in time for Valentine's Day. So let's see if your list of women in gaming has changed over the past year. Post your list of women in games in the comments below, and let's talk about it. And if any of these women interested you, I've linked their respective games in the pinned comment if you wish to pick them up. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.